Hello, welcome to my channel, and this is my review of the Ascend Acoustics CR2EX. The CR2EX is a newly released set of bookshelf speakers by Ascend Acoustics. It sells for $1,648 a pair for the standard cabinets, although the current promotional pricing is only $1,498 a pair. There's a $100 upcharge for US-made cabinets. The cabinet is made out of bamboo, which is supposed to reduce cabinet vibrations compared to MDF. Ascend is one of the few manufacturers that uses this material. The tweeter is a raw 6410 ribbon tweeter, and the woofer is the Curve EX woofer, which is from C's. It uses the same motor, supposedly, as the one from the W16. These drivers are quite expensive, and it's impressive that Ascend managed to fit all of these components into their retail pricing. I've taken measurements in Room EQ Wizard and Dirac Live, which show the frequency response of the speakers at my listening location. For comparison, here are measurements I took of the much more expensive Sulk Silk. As you can see, the measurements are remarkably similar. The main difference seems to be the differences between the 6410 in the Ascend and the 7020 raw tweeter in the Sulk Silk, with the latter having a more flat treble response. I'll make a comparison video later, but I did listen to these speakers before viewing the measurements, and the two speakers did sound remarkably similar, the Sulk Silk being a speaker that's more than twice the price of the CR2EX. Generally, I would describe the tonality of the speaker as having warm bass, slightly recessed mids, and detailed, airy highs. The soundstage of the speakers is extremely wide thanks to the raw tweeter's horizontal dispersion. It's a very detailed speaker, but I didn't sense any listening fatigue, at least for shorter listening sessions. The mid bass is remarkably punchy as well. I feel the speaker would do well with pop music, EDM, hip-hop, or acoustic music. Ribbon tweeters have this very alluring sound with string instruments, and combined with the very punchy woofer, you have a speaker that excels at most sound genres. Personally, I prefer a sound signature that's flat or more rolled off in the highs, especially for classical music. For those who have similar preferences, I'll go into detail in another video on how to achieve this, but in short, you can EQ the speakers, or you can use the raw foam deflector pads, and both will achieve similar results. Are there any weaknesses to the speaker? I would say if there was one, it would be that the directivity does not appear to be perfectly matched between the tweeter and woofer, but this might not be obvious to most listeners, so your mileage will vary, and it isn't generally noticeable unless directly comparing to a speaker with textbook directivity. I'll go into this later in my shootout between the CR2EX, Sulk Silk, and the ScanSpeak MB1s. In conclusion, I would rate the speaker a 9 out of 10. The pros being the dynamics, the bass response, and the wide soundstage, with the only con being possibly directivity related. And since the CR2EX is so competitive with much more expensive speakers, such as the Sulk Silk, I believe this is one of the best sounding speakers at this price range, and I wholly recommend them.